What is going on, you guys? I'm back with another video. Today we're going to take a look at the Transformers Takara Dramatic Capture Series Decepticons Part 1. So here we're going to take a look at the packaging first. This packaging goes outside of the review station. So here you have a nice big image of Thundercracker in robot mode, holding Reflector in his camera mode, and in the lens you can see the Kremzik. This is part of the Dramatic Capture Series. On the back, you have your obligatory product shots of the robot mode and all the accessories. And on the inside of the slipcover, you have this nice stencil art of a Reflector and Thundercracker. So, that's it for the packaging. Alright, so in the packaging, you get quite a bit of things. Well, to start off with, we've got Thundercracker's null rays. Let me back this up as much as I can. You've got 3 of these little viewfinders. One is already on one of the reflectors. 2 or 3 of these camera lenses. Again, the other one's on reflector. Same thing with the gun. You get 3 of the guns. And you also get the additional accessories from the Siege Reconnaissance box set. So you get this piece of the camera, this piece of the camera, and you get the flash. So that is it for all the accessories. Oh, also, you get a little Kremzik. Get a close-up look at Kremzik. Done a nice translucent orange, made of a rubbery plastic. So there's that. Give me a second. Alright, we are going to start with one reflector. And they do not advertise this in the instructions, but I am going to show it off, that he still can transform into his Cybertronian vehicle mode, since this is just the Siege mold. But you can already see right off the bat how different this is from the original Siege Reflector. Or Refractor. This purple is a lot more vibrant, a lighter gray plastic, a lot of white paint throughout the figure. This piece is now done in a translucent green, painted white and silver. This overall looks amazing. So for comparison, here he is with one of the original Siege Refractors. And you can see how different they are. Mind you, my refractor is customized, so not everything is how it would look stock. Get rid of my green here. But, yeah, that's how they look. So now, let's get to the other characters. Thundercracker, who is just a repaint of the Earthrise mold for the bajillionth time. But this Thundercracker is more colored like the 86 Thundercracker. This nice light blue, the gray throughout the figure. They painted the tail stripe here on the fins. Metallic gray here. Metallic gray on the thrusters. Translucent cockpit. So we can give him his null rays. So he can pew pew, bang bang, and all that fun stuff. So here he is, and here is the 86 Thundercracker. And if I didn't tell you, like, their blues are the exact same. Like, it is night and day how similar this is to the 86 mold. So, that's Thundercracker. Now we are going to bring in the reflectors to show off their camera modes. Alright, so I've got the reflectors here in their individual bits for their camera mode. So now we're going to take all of this and turn it into a camera. So, here we go. Alright, so here is the camera mode. I wanted to show it off like this before we got to the additional bits. Doesn't look much like a camera here, but this is how it was sold to us back during Siege. So now we have this. Let me take this off. Now this looks more like a camera. And they painted all the accessories to match up with the plastic, so now it looks more like a camera. You've got the button, and you've got the, I don't remember what this does on an old 80s camera. Here's the little winder to get ready for the picture. This was my favorite part of an old camera right here, this little winder thing. I was obsessed with that thing. But there's that. And just so you can see. Oof. Okay, I didn't expect that. Okay, sorry about that. For camera comparison, here he is with the original Siege camera mode. And you can see just how different the camera modes are, or what these additional accessories help boost the camera mode. And just because here he is with Thundercracker. So now let's get these guys into their robot modes. Alright, so we're going to start with Thundercracker. My least favorite of the set, just because I already own the 86 mold, so let's get a close-up look at his face sculpt first. Bring the light over. His eyes they're painted, they're just sunken in there in the lighting. There you can kind of see them. But the nice metallic gray on his face. But yeah, he looks just like, deco-wise anyway, he looks just like the 86 Thundercracker. They molded this bit in gray and painted this bit gray to give him more of his waist and his torso line. So, articulation-wise, his head's on a ball joint. Arms can do a full 360. They can go in and out. You do have a bicep rotation. You have elbow bend. You have upward wrist movement due to transformation. Now they got the waist. The hips can go forward that far. They can only go back that far. They can go in and out that far. Thigh rotation. Pretty decent knee. The toes can hinge up and down. And they've got ankle tilt. So it's still the Earthrise Seeker mold, so it can get pretty puzzable. Now let's give him his weapons, so he can blast you. Well, here he is, and here he is with 86 Thundercracker. And you can see just how much better the mold looks in 86 colors. Now, I still prefer this mold just because this is the definitive Chug Seeker. But, yeah. Once this video has concluded, this copy is going to my brother. Because he has a Starscream and he doesn't have his own group of Seekers. So, moving on. Alright, so now we've got a falling over bot. Now we've got Reflector in his robot mode. Love this mold, but I hated it 6 times transforming this figure. That's insane. So, here he is in his robot mode, and he looks fantastic in these colors. And they stiffened his joints up. No longer, no drooping feet, no stupid loose anything. This guy looks amazing. They got this nice gray here throughout the figure. White plastic for the legs. white on his chest, white on his face, and then this green. Oh my god, I love this green. And then the silver makes this chest piece pop more than the original figure did. Now, to distinguish my reflectors from the others, well, like they do in the cartoon, one has the thing on his chest and the other two don't. But let's get a close-up look at his face. Very nice. Articulation-wise, the head is on a ball joint. His head's got a little wiggle-waggle. And can look up due to transformation. Arms can do a full 360. They can go in and out. I still hate this joint. I really hate this joint. But I get it for transformation. You do have a bicep rotation. You have a double jointed elbow. You do have a waist rotation. The hips can go forward, back, in and out. Thigh rotation. Knee bend. Downward moving toe. And ankle tilt galore. So this mold is still pretty posable all this time later. Now you can arm him up with your basic reflector armament. You got a gun. And then you've got a shield. Like so. But now you can take the extra camera bits that the set came with and arm this figure up even more. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take this piece, split it down the middle. There's a hinge in here. You want to rotate this all the way out. And these are even stiff. So now you're going to take this peg on both sides and they're going to tab in to these parts of his shoulder. So now he's a little more armed up. Then we're going to do the same thing over here for these ones. Their viewfinder things go to their butt. That's just how I display these guys. So let's give them a gun. One of his shields is going up here on his shoulder. And then, where'd it go? One's going to get the flash accessory. Like so. And then the other one, how I like to do this is, plug in one of these ports to either the 2 ports here on his arm. If you do it this way, you pretty much cut off his arm articulation. Versus if you peg it into that port, I mean, you're still gonna, hold on. There we go. Big arm shield. With the gun. And another arm shield. Now these guys are decked out and ready for battle. I don't think that's how they show these off on the box. Nope, I was completely wrong. Hold on. More or less, yeah, that's how these guys look together. And then here's Crimzeek. So there is that. So let's take off all these excess bits. Because I'm not displaying them with any of their extra camera accessories. Definitely a nice bonus for this set is to get all their extra accessories from the box set. But there they are together. So let's take one out of here, or both of these out of here, so I can compare it to the original Siege Refractor. Oh, here he is. And again, my original refractors are all customized. So I mainly just painted the green under here, and then I decided to paint over it, and I painted their faces gray. You can see how drastically different the purple is. The face looks a lot nicer in white. The white legs, just all the extra pop of color that this mold has is so good. So now let's bring these guys in. And let's bring in Thundercracker. And these guys look great together too. Now you can recreate the scene from the episode that this whole set is based on, where they all transform into their camera, and Thundercracker spies on the Autobots. Now, unfortunately, this set, as is, cannot recreate that pose. You can't use the camera accessory until you buy the second set, which has Skywarp and the Decepticons. But thankfully, I have that set on pre-order, so I will be getting this set. So, yeah. Hold on. So, overall, what do I think of the Dramatic Capture Decepticons Part 2? I think this is a pretty cool set, despite the fact that I already have my definitive version of Thundercracker. I think this is a really nice set, especially since it gives you 3 reflectors instead of hunting down multiple copies of the original figure for an obscene aftermarket price. These guys just overall look a lot better. They come with the camera accessories, and it's just way, way better than the original figures. Thundercracker, if you don't already have the 86 Thundercracker, I mean, this is a perfect substitute for Thundercracker in your collection, especially if you're doing the Earthrise stuff still. But if you're like me, who is collecting the Studio Series 86 movie stuff, this looks way better as a display piece than the Earthrise mold, but to each their own. If you guys don't, like I said, if you don't have this version of Thundercracker, this is a perfect substitute for the color palette. So, overall, I would give this set a solid 9 out of 10. I highly recommend you guys pick this set up, not just only because you get the little Cribzeek, you get falling over figures, you get the little Cribzeek, but you get the reflectors in a nice tune palette with a good looking Thundercracker. So I would highly recommend this set to anybody who is trying to complete their Season 1 Decepticons. So, let me know what you guys think of this set down in the comment section down below. This has been the review for the Transformers Dramatic Capture Series, Decepticons Part 1. I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys later.